Putting your money where your mouth is a very important idea and a very important sentiment. It is something I've talked a lot about on this channel. I have said before, if a movie sucks, don't go watch it. If a company that's making a movie has led you to believe that they will not make a good movie, certainly do not go watch their movie in the cinema. If you feel like a book sucks, you don't have to finish it. If you don't like a game, don't buy it. If you feel like the company that is coming out with the game is not going to deliver a good product, certainly don't buy it on day one, sight unseen. Wait until you've read some reviews. Be an informed consumer is basically what I'm always saying. If you don't like a game that's a subscription-based game like World of Warcraft, unsub from it. And one of the reasons that I've said, and this is actually not the best reason, but it's the one that I've given the most, about why you should put your money where your mouth is that if you continue to give money to a company, if you continue to buy a product, that sends a market signal to whoever's making those products to make more of whatever that product is you're buying. And that's true. That's like a basic economic thing. However, that's not the best thing to think about or to talk about when we are dealing with all of us as individuals, each person as an individual. Because that's a collective and a large-scale set of signals. When 1 million people all buy a game, that sends a signal, make more games like this. But the thing is, you're not 1 million people. You're one person. And asking one person to essentially act as an individual in hopes of achieving what is only done through a collective set of actions is not really very useful. It's one of the reasons that boycotts usually don't work, is because people break the boycott. People say, yeah, I'm going to boycott this, and then they don't because there's an advantage to using whatever service that everybody's talking about boycotting. So if they're talking about boycotting Target for whatever dumb reason, sooner or later you're going to want something from Target, so you're just going to go down there and break the boycott and buy from Target because you personally need something. So asking an individual to act voluntarily as part of a collective. This is not like, if a country's going to war, there's a mass organization of that collective into a particular aim. But when we're saying let's all boycott something, there's a lot of individual interest there. So I want to give another side to that. So rather than saying you guys need to stop watching, whatever Disney movies that you think are not good, you need to, rather than saying that because we want them to make better movies, here's the real reason that you should stop. You should put your money where your mouth is and stop buying movies, stop watching movies in the cinema that you don't think are going to be good, and stop buying games that are probably not going to be good. And the reason is because your time is valuable. Your time is very valuable. That 2 hours that you're going to sit in the cinema watching something that sucks can be better spent watching something that doesn't suck and will also save you money, right? Because going to the cinema might be a $10 ticket for each person. When I lived in LA, going to the cinema was like a $50 experience, which oddly enough meant that going to Disneyland was often cheaper than going to the movies, depending on how you bought your Disneyland tickets or passes. So it's cheaper, and your time is valuable. So those 2 hours that you could spend watching a bad movie, you could spend watching a good movie. I guarantee you most of the people who are watching this have not seen every movie that's ever been made, and I have not even come close to seeing every movie that's ever been made. There are movies, there's 100 years of back catalog of movies that are full of movies that are very much worth watching and are very interesting. There's full of classics. You have to ask yourself, well, if you've never seen like Metropolis, or if you've never seen Casablanca or Citizen Kane or any of these like extremely classic movies, if you've never seen one, rather than going to see the movie that you're doubtful will be good at the cinema, go stream. I mean, they're on Netflix and those streaming websites. Go stream a good movie, a movie that is a classic, and then you have an idea of why people liked it, and it can be informative, and it's probably more worth your time, and it certainly will save you money. So it's your time that's valuable. It's not just that you want. Companies will make better products if we all value our time more than what they're delivering to us. And so that the collective only happens when you as an individual, in this sense, like this collective market signal, that's only really going to happen as you and the individual are valuing your time in a significant fashion. Same thing with the book. There's no reason to read a really bad book all the way through. If you get far enough into a book that you don't like it, put it down and read a better book, because there's a million books out there and you have a limited lifespan and there's only so many that you're going to be able to read. So don't spend it reading books that you're not interested in, I guess. Your time is valuable, and don't buy books that you think are gonna suck either. Now, I will talk about something interesting with MMOs, because I want to sidetrack to that and talk a little bit more about World of Warcraft in this regard, because World of Warcraft has a history of people who are constantly complaining to Blizzard that all this stuff needs to change. I don't like the way this is. And these are people who are subscribed to the game. They're existing customers. And Blizzard, there's this idea, and I don't know, I saw a response by Blizzard at some point that's like, does Blizzard not listen to its customers? I actually think Blizzard listens to its customers perhaps too much. I think that they've sacrificed some of their game design in order to appease and attract customers. So I do think Blizzard actually listens to their customers, but that's not always the best thing, because if your customers are complaining that a game is too hard, that could be part of the game design. Like I wouldn't expect, Contra 4 was really hard and Contra 3 was really hard. They didn't make Contra 4 really easy because people remembered Contra 3 being too hard, right? So there's like design philosophies that sometimes things are hard. So I do feel like Blizzard listens to their customers perhaps too much. But why do people not quit World of Warcraft when they are unhappy with it? And I think the answer for that is that there's kind of an opportunity cost with MMOs. Because MMOs are a huge time investment. It's a huge time investment to get to wherever you're at. And in order to abandon what you have in an MMO, you're taking a huge loss, right? You're like cutting a huge loss to go then invest in another game, especially if you're an MMO player. And for a lot of my lifespan, I've considered myself an MMO player. Nowadays, I mostly play single-player games because, I have like a 9-month-old at home and he requires a bit of attention, and I love spending that attention, which means I need games that I can play like 15, 20 minutes at a time and be okay with, after he goes to bed. I can't be sitting around playing like 5 hours a night of anything. That's just not the way my life will operate right now. So I'm adjusting what I'm doing based on my life circumstances. And just as another interjection or aside, I argue for like, I talk about how much I liked Vanilla Warcraft and I want them to have a Vanilla WoW server. And it's not because I personally want to play Vanilla WoW. I do. But I will not have the time to play Vanilla WoW and raid the way that I would love to raid. I would probably just play casually, like level a character, which is, to me, very fun. But I want other people to have access to that experience. Like, I care more about other people's experience than I just care about my own. I want people to have the availability of that great, intensive experience. Even if my life circumstances are arranged so that I can't have that right now, that's okay. I want other people to be able to have what they want and what they think would be satisfying. But anyway, so when you are asking someone to say like unsub from WoW, abandon World of Warcraft, what are they abandoning? They're abandoning, in most cases, they're abandoning a character that they may have played for 10 years, and has a history in their mind of all these things that the character's done, all the gear that it's acquired, all the titles that came with that character. When I first really quit WoW, my character had the Insane title, including the Chandrilar rep, which is, if you don't know what that is, I guess you can look it up. It's a rather insane title, and most people would think I'm crazy to have actually gotten it, and I kind of was. And I also had like over 100 mounts, back when 100 mounts was really hard to get. And I abandoned that because I felt like I wasn't getting my money's worth, and I felt like the opportunity cost of abandoning it was, I was willing to take that loss to go to something else. Because when you switch to a new MMO, now you have to reinvest all that time to get to back where you were before. You have to spend time leveling up to max level. You have to spend time not just doing that, finding a social community to interact with. So when somebody quits WoW, they're like, they're not only just stopping a game, right? It's not just like their time in a game. It's like, the guild that they may have had, the history of the character. So it's a lot harder to ask somebody to just I want you to individually like abandon World of Warcraft so that it'll be better. Like that's not really going to work. The reason that you should not play World of Warcraft is because there are other games out there that are more fun to play, and that's it. You know, play Elder Scrolls Online or play the Final Fantasy game. Even Aeon is still fun if you're into Korean MMOs. There's a lot of stuff out there that's, you know, Terra Online. There's a lot of stuff out there that's good. And unless you are willing to have the cost of losing what you have, whatever's left in World of Warcraft, and going to something new, you're not going to have as much fun, right? You have to be willing to have a little bit of not fun for a while you rebuild those things to get back to the really fun, immersive MMO experience. And as a last note about World of Warcraft, they stopped publishing sub numbers quite some time ago, like last year, because their sub numbers are really low. And that says to me a lot of people are seeing that trade-off. They have to see it as individuals. They're not saying like, well, I'm going to quit and hopefully that'll send a signal to Blizzard that they need to do it right. No, they're quitting because there's something else fun for them to do. And as the things that made WoW fun are whittled away, eventually you don't see the opportunity cost as the same. Leveling a character to 100 right now in WoW is very, very easy. In fact, there's a video of Sodapapa doing it in like 4 or 5 hours, which is insanely fast considering the huge amount of content that exists from 1 to 100. So the investment to get your character to get any character up to max level is very low. And because that investment's really low, you're not going to have a hard time just abandoning that to do something else. So you have to keep that in mind. So I think people are seeing that, and that's a big reason why people are quitting. Then also, you know, the social community has crumbled, so you're not losing as much social community to potentially gain other community somewhere else. Which means that it makes it more attractive to unsub. And then, of course, like all the gear in the history of your character has become, you know, increasingly meaningless because obviously you're not using that gear in the next expansion. There's transmogs. People can go in and start transmogging things. So your investment in your character has become lower, has been able to be viewed as lower and lower, which makes hopping off that train and getting onto another track quite a bit more attractive. So if you're one of those people and you're still sub to WoW, but you're not happy with it, try a different game and see how you like it. And at least value your time and value your experiences enough to seek good ones, right? So you as an individual, that's putting your money where your mouth is. Don't worry about the market signals. Worry about yourself. Worry about what is going to be fun for you to do today. As a gamer or as a movie watcher, as a reader, as whatever consumer of media that you happen to be. Think about what is going to be fun for you and go do that. And don't worry about whatever's like the current cycle of things, whatever's coming out. There's a million great things from the past that you can experience as well that are probably more worth your time than what may be coming out now. And it's okay to watch something. Just because something's old doesn't mean it's bad. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I sincerely hope that you have a great day, and I very, very much appreciate you watching.